Welcome to Victorious Parenting. I'm your host, Arabella Hill. Now's the time to transform your home life and make parenting a breeze by learning and applying new strategies. Let's get into it. Welcome to Victorious Parenting. Today I'm going to talk about good parenting. Now, the word good is convoluted because what you might determine as good might be different to what I determine as good. So when we say we want to be good parents, it might look different depending on your cultural aspects, your age, and your personal experiences. However, most of us can agree that being a good parent means to be in control of your home life. That means your kids aren't running around and causing so much chaos that your home environment becomes quite unlivable emotionally as well. So how do you govern your household without yelling and screaming? It can be really difficult, and none of us are perfect at remaining calm and in control, especially when our kids have been pushing our buttons constantly. Sometimes we can just blow up and lose it. So what happens when we do have those moments where we just scream and shout and we forget everything that we've learned and just default to that mechanism? It's a good reminder to know that good parents don't stay calm all the time because we're human beings after all. We're emotional human beings. And I don't think it's possible just to be calm all the time. There are going to be times when we blow up and we scream and we shout, and it's just inevitable. So what is the solution for when those times happen? The answer is repairing. Good parents repair. Just because you've screamed and shouted at your child and you've forgotten everything that you perhaps have learned through my book or this podcast or others like it, it doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you a human being. It makes you a human being. That's all. You know, we can just pick up and we can start again and try again tomorrow. To be a good parent is to have insight into your own behavior and your own mechanisms and the way you react to things, and understanding how and when your children push your buttons, and then learning to catch it before it happens. And this process can take time. It can take time to not get caught up in the moment. It can take time to rise above it. So that's where repairing comes into play. Because it's not possible to be perfectly calm all the time. As I said, we're human after all. But a good parent knows when to admit they're wrong. And that's great insight. One of the best things I've done for my child was to be honest with him. Because I grew up in a household where my parents placed themselves on a pedestal. They made out like adulthood was easy. And it really isn't. It's very difficult. They made out like adulthood gives you all the answers and makes you right all the time simply because you're an adult, and it automatically gives you that authority. And it doesn't. That's not reality at all. As adults, we struggle and we screw up, and it's okay because we're human, and our children need to understand that as well from us. Sometimes we need to say sorry to our kids for blowing up or overreacting. It's okay because they're not going to respect you any less. In fact, they will respect you more because now you're being real. I'm not talking about groveling to your children in that way and asking for forgiveness on like you're lowering yourself and you're diminishing your authority. You're not doing it at all. What you're doing is you're having a conversation after the fact when everyone's calmed down, when everything is settled, and you're saying, look, this is what you did, and this is how you made me feel, and it's not okay. And it's not okay that I screamed and I shouted at you in response. But I can tell you that when you behave like this, it wears me out. And I really want to work with you in order to make this environment for us much better. You don't want me screaming and shouting at you, and I don't want to be screaming and shouting at you back. So how about we come up with a solution? You see, by doing this, you're showing them that in life you get things wrong. sometimes. We all do. But it doesn't diminish your authority, your value, or your worth. Inadvertently, this in itself can contribute to boosting your children's self-esteem, because they'll see that it's okay to struggle, it's okay to be wrong, and even adults can be wrong. And they'll learn how to make it right. You see, we're always going to get things wrong in relationships, no matter how strong the bond we have with others are. We're going to disappoint people. We're going to lie to them at times. We're going to let them down. We're human. It's going to happen. No relationship on this planet is free from those things. No relationship is perfect. So we can learn how to make it right. That's what repairs relationships. That's what creates a strong bond. I'm not talking about just letting yourself loose and deliberately, letting all of it out and thinking, well, I'll just repair later. We're not talking about that. We're talking about making slip-ups, having those times where you're not thinking right, you're tired, you're exhausted, and you blurt everything out. We need to make sure that we're looking at our own behavior and we're trying and striving to make it right, to empower ourselves as well, to strengthen our own emotional intelligence. If we find ourselves constantly yelling and screaming at our kids as a default, there's something there that needs repairing within us. And if we work hard on the inner parts of ourselves that need healing, that need making right, we can teach our children how to do that as well as adults, because they're going to struggle in different ways. They're going to have relationships where they're going to be pushed to the edge at times. They're going to have times where they have to make decisions and they're not going to know what to do. And that's fine, because we all go through that. If they see how human you are right from the get-go, how that is and how it is to be an adult, they're not going to have any surprises when they become older. They're not going to have this fantasy in their head that when they're an adult, everything's just going to be okay and they're going to have the ultimate authority simply because they're adult. Because we know that's not how it works. So rather pretending everything is okay or just sweeping things under the rug, trying to ignore what happened yesterday or ignoring bad behavior, your children will learn to be open, to speak up, and to work on their weaknesses. It gives them a safe place to just be themselves because they've seen their mom and dad do just that, and they will follow your example. If you would like access to more parenting resources and a big supportive community, I'd like to invite you to our Facebook group, Victorious Parenting. I give regular content every single day, and we have a unit section where you can find all the best content. There are some short form and long form content in there, like the Grey Rock method and how to deal with sibling rivalry. And as well, you'll get to be a part of a great big community of parents who are becoming victorious just like you. We'd love to have you join us in Victorious Parenting. Discover the 7 biggest mistakes parents make that can lower their child's self-esteem forever. PromotingSelfesteem.com.